A very good morning to all my viewers and subscribers. Today is 8th May 2020 and today I've decided to read out some excerpts from a story titled The Lady and the Sari, which I wrote yesterday for my book, which I'm in the process of writing these days. The book is titled All That a Princess Prefers and it's a sequel to The Private Life of an Indian Princess, which is available for everyone to read on sparklerwrites.wordpress.com. So the story begins like this. So what's the big fuss about sari? I have in my possession a black and white picture of my mother as a toddler dressed in a sari, and I think she looks quite unassuming in the picture, not like she's going to a party, because a sari is a common enough attire in the family she hails from. You look so pretty, she squealed with joy while we came down the staircase with her, chatting about coffee and this and that with my new friends. Thank you. Married? Why? You're in a sari, that's why. Like, oh my god. Anyway, she later revealed to me that she was a Brahmin girl recovering from cervical cancer and how her fiance's mother had almost called off the wedding on account of the ailment she was suffering from. He, being from the Intelligence Bureau, stood his ground and love prevailed. She invited me to her parents' anniversary to show me all her relatives, and her mother, draped in a red sari with her head covered, really made me feel at home. She told me she was a bilingual journalist, and I told her I was a journalist too. She said she didn't find me to be so professional, rather more like a home sparrow. I took that for a compliment. I would like to clarify here, since I invest in saris quite often, my dream being one to possess a sari collection as exquisite as that of my grandmother, Srimati Kameshwari Devi Singh of Azamgarh, that sari isn't a sissy dress that one wears once one gets doomed to being the proverbial housewife. Sari, on the contrary, is a woman's garment from the Indian subcontinent that consists of an unstitched drape varying from 4.5 to 9 meters in length and 600 to 1200 millimeters in breadth, that is typically wrapped around the waist with one end draped over the shoulder, bearing a portion of the midriff, and it is a documented piece of formal attire. Civil services personality tests for lady officers are conducted preferably in sari. Lady officers in the services wear saris with collared blouses and 3/4 sleeves. The first woman president of India, Srimati Pratibha Devi Singh Patil, was always attired in public in saris. Wives of army officers have their own regimental saris, and even air hostesses, while flying high, wear saris. I would like all my readers here to read a research paper on the evolution of sari as a form of dress and learn to drape it with grace. This article, titled Unpeeling the History of the Blouse, written by Minya Chatterjee, was published in the Huffington Post on 18th August 2016. Now, I would like to draw your attention to some excerpts from this article by Minya Chatterjee, in which she says that the blouse was introduced to India by the English. And she has made a reference to how a Bengali woman from the Tagore family was rebuked once by the English for presenting herself before them without a blouse, with just the sari. So that's quite interesting, and this is a very enlightening read. So I would like all sari wearers and also all critics and detractors of those who wear saris to go through this article and also understand the little bit of humor that it has in it. Further, I would like to highlight the role of Mrs. Shalini Devi, the Queen of Maheshwar in Madhya Pradesh in central India, in involving the unsung women and weavers of Maheshwari saris in a cooperative society known as Guri Muri to promote their work and fetch them fair price. So she's actually a German lady, and she is the wife of Richard Holker, and she's known to be a very dynamic lady, as was told to me by a journalist who's Mau based. He's Mr. Rajesh Johri, and he shared a picture of hers dressed in a black sari with me, which is available for everyone to see in my ebook. And I would like to end by saying that I certainly do love experimenting with saris, and more than that, collecting them and enriching my collection by collecting various kind of saris from different regions in India. All have their own different versions of the sari to offer, and I would be very happy if my readers write back to me with their experiences pertaining to this very bulky piece of fabric, and share their thoughts with me on pksofficial2020@gmail.com. And it is always my very honest effort to write back to anybody who writes in. So have a great day ahead, and see you on Instagram.